Hello guys, this is Luke Rowe at Mockingbird Bell Farm, and I just wanted to make a video on some of my sourdough making. I don't have a lot of experience, but I do have some resources and tips that I can give you guys. I did get into sourdough, pretty sure it was like a couple years ago, and I didn't really have much success. I was really not knowledgeable about a lot of things. Like for instance, I posted something on my Instagram account and said, wow, look at my sourdough starter has risen in 3 days, but I had no idea about something called a false rise, where the bad bacteria is actually burning off, and then the good yeast population starts to multiply after that effect. So I didn't know that, and I thought it was an actual rise, and I don't really remember if I tried to use it to make bread or anything, but now I know that that's actually a false rise. I think it usually occurs between day 3 and day 6 or 7, I believe. But here's my sourdough starter. It's all bubbly and nice. It's been going for a couple of weeks, since February 21st. It's March 9th today. So as you can see, it's very bubbly, very active. I told a friend, like, when should I refrigerate it, because I don't want to keep on feeding it every day, but she said to get it more mature, she actually said let it be 2 months old before you start putting it in the fridge. As it gets more mature, it'll be able to fight back against mold. So that's awesome. I want to get as mature as possible, and like I said in the other video, you shouldn't be saving your discard until day 10 at least, because there's bad bacteria in there, and when you're using it in the kitchen, where that's where usually where people put their sourdough starter, the bad bacteria will go back into the environment and go back into your starter, and you don't want that. On this farm they have chickens, so I've just been feeding them the starter, so that's not an issue, so I'm not actually throwing it away. But now I am saving it and putting it in a bowl in the freezer, so that works. So yeah, this is a couple weeks old, and I'm gonna continue to feed it. Also, like I said in the other video, we're using a blended mix of whole wheat and bread flour, or all-purpose, both organic. And then if you don't have a scale, you can use the measurements. So a spoon for stirring, and then tablespoon, this is for your transfer starter. So you save it and then you discard the rest. When I say discard, after day 10, it's not actually discard. They say discard because you're not keeping it in with, you're not keeping it in here, but you're saving a tablespoon for, and then you put it back. You put the tablespoon back into the jar, and then feed it with more flour and water. The discard, there's still probably near to 100 or something recipes out there where you can use your discard, so you don't have to actually discard it. So and then 4th cup for the water, make sure it's warm water and unchlorinated. And then 3rd cup of the blended flour mix. And then I use this funnel just so it doesn't go on the rim. Like I did on my other video, I clean my jar every time I feed it. Because even after one day, it starts to really stay on the glass for very long, so I don't like that. But yeah, I haven't had a mold problem yet, so that's good. And where I'm getting these measurements from this is a very, very good free resource for you guys, by Tom Kakuza, The Sourdough Journey. This is actually printable PDF that you can get online. And if I remember, I could put it in the description below. But it talks about, I didn't know, like the really everything in this was just so informational, and whether you're a beginner or a novice, like, you can get a lot of information out of this. And like I guess I can describe to you some of the stuff that they say. So like why they do the 50-50 ratio, like, is there a reason behind it? And actually there is when you read the paper. And then they talk about how you shouldn't look at the clock and look at what day you're on when you're feeding your starter, but you should watch and wait. So you look at the bubbles. The bubbles are an indication that it's actually, it's feeding, it's like alive, I guess you could say that. The bubbles are an indication that it's being fed on. And the same thing with the liquid on top. A lot of people, it says also in here, the liquid on top, it's not considered hooch until it's a very, very mature starter. But basically in the early stages, that liquid just is an indication of a very hungry starter. So if it's in between day 1 and 3, you're not supposed to feed or discard during that time. You're supposed to just let it ferment down. If you see that liquid in there, just stir it up and wait till day 4 to feed and discard. Like it says right here, see, what is the clear liquid in my starter? And then it talks about the false rise, where I didn't know about that. Then it goes into about mold, and it goes just day by day. It says day 4, day 5, day 6, and has a whole few paragraphs about it, and it just makes it so much easier. I don't know, this is what this friend that I'm talking about, I don't know if this recipe is from the Sourdough Journey website. I haven't really checked out what the website has to offer, but yeah, so I'm pretty sure, I mean, I did see some YouTube stuff on their channel, and they were talking about 500 grams of bread flour and stuff like that. So yeah, so here's a recipe. It's all there, and I wrote some notes today because sadly I put some pictures on Instagram, and I only showed the top and the sides. It is kind of dark. This is the one I did this morning. I haven't done sourdough in a while. It hasn't come out this good before because I didn't have all that knowledge, but that's what happens when you put it on the bottom rack. Since you're putting it in a 500-degree oven, you're turning it down to 450 when you put the bread in, but still it's really, really hot. And I learned that you're supposed to put it in the middle rack. I mean, I should have known that. I mean, I've baked before, but like, I don't know why I didn't do that. I guess I was kind of lazy. But again, it's a learning curve. Every loaf you do, I think it'll get better and better as long as you're learning from your mistakes and successes, you know? So, like I said, this is a very good resource. And like I said, look, they have pictorial ways, day by day, what it's supposed to look like. Really cool. And he says everybody's starter is going to be different. This is just a general overview of what you'll be seeing within the next few weeks. And then they have troubleshooting. So if you're having trouble with something, they go into detail with that. Yeah, and then they also have sheets in the back of this paper that gives you a little layout of times when you could feed and temperature and all that. So yeah, that's a really good resource. So make sure you guys print this out if you can, or maybe save it to your files on your phone, because it's a very good resource if you ever want to get into sourdough baking. So and then I have other books that I'm gonna try recipes from. This is an Amish cookbook that I got from a friend, Healthy Choices. It doesn't use no white sugar, no white flour, or no artificial anything. I love it. There's so many good recipes in here. So, and I was using napkins to put bookmarks in this, so I have some ideas that I want to do. And they do have sourdough bread in here, so I'm gonna check that out. The only ones I saw was, I think, whole wheat and just white spelt bread. But if I want to do a deep dive into it, there's more than 300 favorite recipes, bread recipes. There's yeast breads in here, there's quick breads in here, but there's also sourdough bread, and I still have to look up the numbers, but there's so many different things you can do in here, and just so many different kinds of breads. It's crazy. I'm gonna look up sourdough bread probably later and just make a list of different ones. I'm gonna try to make all the different sourdough breads in this book. So anyway, I actually forgot to bring a knife in here. So I'm gonna get a knife, and then we're gonna cut in here, and we're gonna see the crumb of this, how it looks on the inside. So it's gonna be awesome. Okay, so here we go. I'm gonna have to move all this out of the way so you guys can see. Okay, so the usual thing. Oh, did you see the design, by the way? Isn't that cool? So I did a cross here, then a cross here, cross here, cross here, cross here. Looks like stars. So cool. Anyway, but that's cool. You can put your art into your bread making, which is pretty cool. I love art. Okay, so usually the way people cut it is, to see the crumb, you cut it right in half. Ugh, so rough. Get an arm workout. Wow. That looks great. Look at that crumb. That's perfect crumb, I think. Or almost perfect. I don't know if it's okay if it has bubbles in it or not. But look at that crumb. That's awesome. We have a little piece. I'm gonna sneak it in. Okay, maybe I can cut it in quarters. This is awesome. I didn't know it was gonna look so good on the inside. That's awesome. That's stinking good. Wow. It's so good. Oh my gosh. I'm very pleased. Wow. That's so good. Nothing beats home-baked bread. And even more than that, environmental yeast is even... I feel more satisfied with this. Yes, it does take more time than yeast breads, but it's totally worth it. I guarantee you. So, if you ever had thoughts of doing sourdough, I guess this is your video. This is your inspiration to bake your own. This is awesome. I'm so pleased. Wow, this is awesome. Anyway, thank you for watching this video, and I will be making a sourdough playlist on my YouTube channel. So follow along, even if it's just for sourdough. I also have gardening things on there. I have music. I have iMovie trailers and cooking with E. Me in the kitchen. There's tons of things on my YouTube channel, and you could check that out. Yeah, it's awesome. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I hope you guys have a great day. And as always, happy sourdough making and baking. See ya.